turnovers in that first half. It almost looked like both teams were still recovering from Saturday. What do you make of it?
How many do we have, and how many do they have in the first half?
19 total, 11 for Louisville, 8 for us.
And both teams finished with 16.
Okay, so what was the question again?
Both teams' big victories on Saturday. Any carryover from your team from that to attribute the slow start?
No, I think that you had two teams that were pretty good defensive teams. They lead the conference. One of the top teams in the nation, I believe, in causing turnovers, and we are playing defense better than we have been right now. So I don't think there's any carryover, residual, positive, negative effect from Saturday. I just thought there were two good defensive teams.
Coach, talk about the growth of your man-to-man defense last three or so games.
I think that the guys are, it's better. I think that the guys are beginning to take ownership, this is the way I'll phrase it, and you have to guard your man, and we're going to help you. Your teammates are going to help you, they're going to be there, they're going to support, they're going to have your back, but at some point, and I said this 2 or 3 games ago, at some point it's not about, well, let's do this, let's do that, let's go over, let's go under. It's like, no, I got to stop him. And our guys are doing a better job of approaching it with that mentality. And the support behind whoever has the ball has been much better.
Coach, what made scoring so much easier in the second half?
Gosh, I don't feel like it was easier.
76% versus 31% in the first half.
I am not sure yet. I don't know what made it easier.
Can you talk a little bit about?
Well, actually, let me back up.
Okay.
I think in the first half, particularly early in the game, we were getting good shots. Balls wasn't going in. We were executing. We were getting what we wanted. Ball just didn't go in. That happens sometimes. Second half, it went in.
Chris Wright didn't score a point for the first time since his freshman year last game. Tonight he had his best game of the season, scoring-wise. What do you attribute that to?
The opportunities were there for him. I said it following the, who did we play the other day? The Villanova game, that he played very well without scoring a point. Tonight he played well by scoring points. It's a theme. I've said this all year, and it's true. It's not just coach speak. It's not just me standing up here talking. We have an unselfish group. On different nights, we're going to have different mismatches. Our team collectively does an outstanding job of getting the ball to the person that's open when they need it. And so, Chris had opportunities today. He made his foul shots.
He also made pretty amazing kind of scoop there in the lane with someone leaning on him. Do you recall that shot?
Leaning on him implies he was fouled, right?
I'm pretty sure he was
That's
fouled.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
You're saying that, correct?
Yes, I'm pretty sure he was fouled.
Okay. Did the refs call that?
They did not.
They missed it. Yeah, that was, that's one of those, as a coach, you're like, no, yes. And it drops to the basket. And some variation of that. And Camille Powell, how you doing?
Can you talk about the defense on the ensuing defensive possession after that?
What happened that next possession?
I think Smith missed a...
Is that when they got 17 offensive rebounds?
No.
That was 2 possessions later.
That was later, but I think that was
Smith missing a 3.
Smith missing a 3, yeah. It just seemed like guys were diving all over the place. Just like you talked about, making that sort of owning up to getting wherever they had to be to make the defensive effort.
I don't remember that specific play right now. But coming down at the end, we wanted to not let them get a 3 off. Force them towards the basket. There was a couple pump fakes. I'm not sure if this is the same play. But then, guys got out of position. Their teammates did a good job of what I said a few minutes ago, just covering for each other. And just that sense of urgency was there coming down the stretch. With the exception of that one possession where we didn't rebound.
How difficult is it to prepare for their press and then also their 2-3 matchup?
Especially on short prep, it's hard. I was comfortable / confident going into the game because of who I'm going into the game with. And they've been through it, and they understand what we have to do. And so, that's what they do. They pressure you the whole game. and they play a zone that's terrific. And that's all they do, and they're good at it. In the first half, this might go back to answer the gentleman in the red. Who are you with? I'm sorry.
Me?
Mhm.
Young DC?
Okay, about the first half, they were in that matchup, and we were trying to settle into what we were going to decide to stick with. And so that, and we were trying different things. Once we settled in what we were trying to stick with, what we knew we were going to stick with, maybe that's the reason why in the second half things opened up a little bit. But it is hard to prepare for that.
Can we just go back to the play where you were talking about the no, where I think they got 3 offensive rebounds in a row. What were your thoughts on what happened?
That's not acceptable. That's my thoughts.
Well, let's go to the possession before that. Hollis hit the shot that put you guys ahead for good. How tough is it for a guy who, you know, I think he'd only taken 2 shots or in the maybe 3 shots in the second half to come in and make a huge shot like that?
I don't think it was that difficult. You know, one thing that goes unnoticed with that is Julian Vaughn set a hell of a screen to get Hollis open.
Right.
Took it over to him and handed it to him and held the screen. But Hollis is a shooter. He got a wide open shot. He's supposed to make those shots, right? It's not that difficult.
And then you guys, you'll appreciate this question, I think, Coach. You chose not to foul with the 3-point lead.
Well, we sat up at Seton Hall, and I told you guys, or whoever was there at that post-game press conference, said, at that timeout, Julian said, "Don't worry, Coach, we can foul. I'll get the rebound on the foul shot." Well, he didn't say that to me today.
Did you expect them to press more in the first half than they did? It seemed like you kept them off balance, but they were off
We got
balance.
stops. They weren't scoring, so they couldn't press. You know, and that's not to say that they do press off missed shots also, but I think that, what was the score after, 20-18 or something like that? You know, so I don't, you know, because we were getting rebounds and turnovers, the opportunity for them to set up their press wasn't, it didn't show up as often as probably much as they would have liked.
Sorry, you mentioned Julian and the screen. He had a statistically pretty efficient game tonight for you. Is that sort of the role that you need him to play to be successful?
Yes. Julian's role is to defend, to rebound, to get guys open, to make his open shots. You know, and then if he doesn't, we have other people that can step in and do that. So, was that what we wanted him to do? Yes.
Steven might have been the hottest player in the Big East coming into this game. You guys held him to 5 points. How did you do that? And what was the key to shutting him down?
It was a group effort, as I will always say. You know, he has had several terrific games, and I think as a group, I think our bigs were very good at helping the little guys that were guarding him. The bigs are very good at showing on the screens, giving our guards a chance to get back in front. They put you in difficult situations in that, you know, if the big gets lazy, then the guard's in trouble. If the big is lazy getting back to his man, then throwing it into the big fellow or shooters coming up. And so it's one of those games where it's just, you have to be extremely focused, and you have to have a high energy level if you're going to have an opportunity to beat that team. And I thought we were attentive from the guys guarding him, the guys guarding those to the big guys who were helping out the whole time.
Coach, you got out to the 11-point lead early in the second half, and then they came back. What turned the tide, do you think, for them during that stretch, or what did you message you impart to your team to help turn the tide your way?
We just said, let's settle down and play. That's their run. You know, and if you look at their games this year, that's happened a lot. So now let's just settle down, get stops. You know, it's a simple game. Make shots and guard your guy.
Chris, I want to ask you about the scoop drive. First, do you think you were fouled, and just talk about your performance overall?
Well, you already said that he was fouled, so he shouldn't have to comment on that. It's coming from you, not him.
That is me saying that. Yes.
All right, so you asked me like 3 questions.
Yeah. How about just talk about your performance in general? 24 points. You know, 48 hours after not scoring any.
Well, I just last game, it wasn't my role. Is I have to see how the game is going, to determine my role. As you can see in the last game, Austin was hitting shots all over the place early and often. So, I mean, I don't need why force something? Why force the issue? So, I got to be a playmaker, and whatever that entails, or whatever that implies, is what I have to do. So, today was, I was open, and I felt that we got on transition. I got a few transition buckets early, and I just, just away. I just feel like if I kept attacking, good things would happen, regardless if I was scoring or kicking it out. So.
Describe the layup there, that spin scoop.
Oh yeah, I work on that. That's some of my repertoire. Nah, I don't know. It just went in. I actually thought the ref was gonna call a foul, but I mean, I'm glad it went in.
Chris and Austin, if you could, just talk about how you handle their press in the second half, because obviously you got them back into the game, and you guys dealt with it from then on.
Well, we had when they got back in the game, they hit a couple threes, and then I think out of a timeout they went into their press, and we weren't executing as well as we wanted to, and we just had to be patient on the press, and once we started to be patient and then really just attack them, their press is very aggressive. They don't wait, they don't sit back and wait for you to come to them. So we just wanted to be aggressive on the press, and I think we drew them into some fouls and we got to the one-on-one, and we knocked out free throws.
Going back to slowing down the pace, I noticed a lot of time when you have possession, you would go like this to kind of settle down and have everyone just take a minute. Can you describe the importance of that?
I mean, well, sometimes in transition, if we have numbers, if we have advantage, then we want to push. We want to push and attack. But I noticed that we didn't have advantage sometimes, and I don't want people to think, oh, I gotta get a shot up or something like that. So we just settle down and that's just part of my role. And understanding where you have, and if we don't have anything early, then pull out and run our offense. We were up, so there's no point of forcing a shot of rushing a quick shot. We got the whole 35 to use.
I don't know if this is too big picture, but could you justify, during this winning streak, Austin's been the hot guy. And what does it say about this team on a night when perhaps Austin wasn't his best, that someone like you can go from 0 to whatever, 24, that you don't need particularly 15 to be the hot guy every game. There's always someone else who can.
What do you mean, someone like me?
Well, someone. You happen to be one standing there who scored 24 points.
Can we jump in?
Yeah, you can.
You've been watching this all year, right?
Right.
And all year, there have been different people on different nights that have stepped up. Like Austin's been on a little streak right here, but if you go back and look at us during the course of the year, these three have had their opportunities, Jason Clark, Julian, and so, in as much as Austin Freeman is Austin Freeman, we still have other guys that can and will put the ball in the basket.
Hollis, the three-pointer, you didn't hesitate. You just let it fly, and it didn't touch anything with net. Can you just talk about that shot and how important that was to getting the game back into Georgetown's control?
I mean, honestly, I just, I came in and Julian set a great screen. I saw the open shot and I took it. I wasn't really thinking about, time to score. Maybe I should have, had the open shot. I took it.
And I didn't look at the sheet there, but I think you were still on the floor at the other end when the rebounds were. Yeah, Coach called it unacceptable. What was your take on that?
I mean, yeah, I think we was really focusing on getting the rebound on that play, and a lot of times when we focus on getting the rebound, we're focusing on packing it inside the key, boxing outside the key. But a lot of those rebounds were flying over our heads, so we got to do a better job of boxing out 5 people instead of boxing out the players in the key.
Right. Thank you,
Coach. One of the things that Coach Pitino said down the hall before you guys came in is that he's looking for his team to go from good to great. And it's something in reference to what his team did Saturday up at UConn, and you guys obviously had a great game against Villanova. What has made this team so capable of keeping their level so high, so that you're able to come in here and have a performance like this one tonight, so soon after what you did up at Villanova?
Did everybody notice that when Hollis was asked the question, the first thing he did was kind of take a step back and give you one of these? Did everybody see that?
I did notice.
Hollywood. I think it's our players we have a poised group. We went through a difficult stretch where we were not making shots. All right, and you can sit here and talk about, oh, the offense, this, the offense, that. We were getting good shots that we just weren't going in. We're past that. And so I think we have a veteran group. We have a group that is unselfish, as Chris articulated in talking about his play the other day relative to today. And so I think it's you know, it's the group that we had. They're poised.
John, to piggyback on that, Rick was saying too, he said what made this loss tough for them was because in this conference you don't know where that next W is coming from. Knowing where you were at the beginning of conference play to where you are now, do you agree with that assessment?
Lord knows that's the truth. That's a very I mean, this conference, pre-game, yeah. Pre-game, I was doing an interview, and they were talking about all the upsets this weekend. And I'm sitting there looking at it and saying, you know, I don't know that there's a coach or a player in the league that can look at Marquette beating Syracuse and say, oh, that's an upset. You know, or Georgetown beating Villanova, well, that's an upset. Or Louisville beating UConn, well, that's an upset. We're in a tough league, you know, and you guys have heard me say this. You know, you start off the year, you got to put somebody's number 1 on down to someone's number 16. All right, but the differences between those squads is a magnification of small differences. It's not much. It's not much. So just because this team has a number 11 next to it and this one has a number 2, there's not much difference between those two teams this year in the Big East. And so Rick's right. You know, you start getting ready for your next game, and you're like, ooh, we better play well, we better defend, we better make shots, or you can lose regardless of what name is on the jersey across from you. And that's what makes this league so daunting and so difficult this year. I said earlier, once we started off, whatever we were, on whatever it was, and the good thing was we had enough time to climb out. And we still are climbing out. We're not out yet, but it happened early in the season. We have time to get our rhythm back and have time to climb out because you know that people are going to lose. We're not, you know, I said this following the last game. Jamie Dixon said it. You know, the Big East spent the preseason beating up on the rest of the country, and now we're going to spend the Big East schedule beating each other up.
Last question, please.
Yep.
How much of an adjustment has it been to you psychologically in coming off the bench? Because you're coming off the bench to make this team damn better because of your offensive ability. How much of an adjustment is that with people not being able to recognize that makes the team better when you're coming off the bench?
I mean, I think psychologically it is a bit of an adjustment, but for me, maybe not so much because I feel like, you know, I was in the position I was in last year, you know, coming off the bench. And so now I see, you know, opportunities from the bench, and when I step on the floor, I say, you know, this is what we need to take advantage of.
Thank you.
John?